So welcome everyone who has joined in to watch this Q&A session. My name is Wesley Fawaz and I'm the CEO of the Australasian Promotional Products Association. COVID-19 has severely impacted the promotional products industry, and today I'm joined by Brian Super, the Managing Director of the Premier Collection, Greg Jolly, CEO of Trends, and Chris Terry, the Director of Nottage, to discuss COVID-19 and the impact that COVID-19 has had on these individual businesses, as well as the industry as a whole, and to get an insight and some advice from these guys on managing a business through these times, and to get an insight into how or what sort of impact COVID-19 will have on the promotional products industry going forward in the short term and the long term. So gentlemen, thanks for joining me here today. As an introduction, first question off after a series of questions I've got for you. If you could give us an insight into the current status of your operations. So for example, what does business look like at the moment? How are you managing your staff levels, and are orders currently coming in and out? And Greg, we've just had a chat before we pressed record on this session. You being in lockdown at the moment over in New Zealand, your answer to that question will be different to Brian and Chris. So we might ask you to kick us off, Greg, if you could give us a bit of an insight on how COVID-19 is impacting Trends.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, we went down into lockdown on the 26th, and we expect to be out of that by around about the 23rd. Given the current rate of active cases is there clearly dropping, so our government's sounding quite supportive. There'll be an announcement on the 20th by our Prime Minister to let us know. Essential services have been working, and we've been able to supply some unprinted stock to those essential services. So there's been a bit of government work around the education sector that we've been able to pick the odd order for. So that's at least something. Our customer service team have been working online from home, and we've been taking a few orders in. So we're quite happy about some of the orders we've received in post-lockdown, and we've got a bit of a decent workload to come back to, so very appreciative of that.
Okay, right. All right, and Brian?
So we are, the office is open, the warehouse and production is open. We're running a customer service both in the office and remotely as well, so we certainly ready to take calls, reply to emails, etc. That's no problem at all. Production, we've reduced to 2 to 3 days a week. We don't have the demand right now, so we're keeping the guys running however much we need them in production, and getting goods out in relatively quick amounts of time. So that's working pretty well. We've still got our sea freight shipments coming in. There's been no major drama with stock coming in, slightly delayed by about a week to 10 days because of some of the quarantine measures, but stock's coming in fine on a sea freight basis. And on an indent basis, most of our factories are operational fully, 80% plus capacity. We're just finding delays with air freight at the moment because of the lack of supply as far as the airlines are concerned. So we're running probably about a delay of about 1 to 2 weeks with indent air freights, simply because of the lack of supply. And I don't envisage that changing over the next month or so. I think it's going to stay the same. At least the goods are coming in, but a little bit delayed.
Okay. Yeah. Chris?
We're pretty much in a similar position to Brian there. We're operational, so our warehouse is open, our print shop is open. Any staff member that can work from home is working from home, and we're still handling customer service production orders all handled by our staff at home. So really, in the office and the warehouse, we just have essential staff, and we have protocols obviously in place to make sure we here test our staff every day. We provide we do additional cleaning throughout the day. We provide hand sanitizers and face masks to the staff. We and the rest of the staff we practice social distancing as well, so everybody well apart. basically the same as Brian said. Sea freight shipments are really not that impacted at the moment. We've had a few delays, but nothing terribly bad. It's air freight, which is really quite tough at the moment. Even international couriers like FedEx are doing. It's difficult for them with delays of up to a week. FedEx have been cancelled, but any economy services that are operating priority service, and where you can get goods in 3 days into cities, it's taking a week now.
So Chris, I'm having a bit of trouble hearing you there. Could you hear him, Brian and Greg then?
No, same problem.
No.
Was a bit patchy, unfortunately.
Okay. Chris, we might continue if you're able to just maybe change your Wi-Fi, and we'll see how that goes over the next question. Because unfortunately, it was a bit hard to understand you through that answer. So Brian, I might just start with you in the next question. So during these times, it's obviously very important to stay as positive as you can, and I'm hearing some positive stories from distributors and suppliers in relation to selling a lot of hand sanitizers and masks. But I'm also seeing some other trends, such as home care kits for employees or employers sending to their employees who are working from home. So I was just wondering during these times if you three have seen any other trends that is appearing within the promotional products industry during these times.
So from my side, we've certainly seen all the trends out there. We've seen people pivoting into things that don't seem particularly familiar to their general range, and that's fine. We at this point are not doing that. We're trying to stick with our nuts and bolts. We're exploring as much as we can, trying to develop a range of Australian-made products, or products that are partially raw materials coming from overseas, and the finishing side of it done in Australia. So that's what we've been focusing on. We're looking at some new ways to decorate, add-on options that were generally only available as indents. So we're spending a fair bit of time working on that at the moment while we are quiet. We've also tried to, or have been offering some COVID-19 messaging onto some of our products, like warning messages onto our notebooks, onto our drink bottles. So we've put that out there. We've had a few orders. It hasn't gone crazy. Obviously not hand sanitizer, but it's doing okay. And that's really what we're trying. We're trying to stick with the range that we have rather than modifying our range too much.
There you go, there, Chris.
Good. Does that sound any better?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Excellent.
So you see trends popping up at the moment? We've put a few initiatives in place. So we are marketing work from home packs. We're marketing products that are required by frontline workers as well. So we're seeing it. We're still getting some nice orders, particularly things around products that can be supplied to the frontline workers: drink bottles, bags, and a number of products like that. We're also seeing companies wanting to purchase products for their staff, I guess comfort type products for their staff, and exercise products. So we've done quite well. Some nice orders for Bullet line coming in through with things like skipping ropes, other exercise equipment. But the other thing we're seeing as well is some personalisation products as well. So people wanting to personalise drink bottles, or so that I guess people are not sharing drink bottles, and they can easily go and find those that are there. So, yeah, but we're the same. We're trying to focus on our own products and marketing our own products as well. And although we are looking at what will be the new normal, and is what will market want. Our hand sanitizer is going to be a product moving forward that people will want for the next 18 months to 2 years. So
we are trying to look forward as well as to what the market will require.
Okay. And Greg, are you able to provide any insight into that question, or is it hard?
It was pretty well covered. I think there's a lot of general, in terms of well-being and hygiene products that you probably can't say exactly COVID-19 specific, but it adds to that message. So I think the spectrum around those sort of products is worth investigating. And I suppose it's really about how the distributors can promote different ways that promotional products can be used in businesses, and as Terry said, around getting that internal message out, morale buildings for companies and such. So yeah, in terms of products, I think they'll pretty much remain themselves. It's just how they're sold and distributed will be different as we get through this year.
All right, so my next question is regards to the basket of our listeners in terms of managing business through such period as this. Over the last few weeks, I've been reading some articles, and some of the key messages that are coming out are, make sure that you're keeping in mind of your customers, the opportunity to review your business and look at your efficiency, so you can improve those for when we do come through. So I was just wondering, what strategies are your business focusing on at the moment? Sort of where are you focusing your resources? And sort of what advice would you give to APPA members to manage their business through this period? So Greg, maybe we'll start off with you.
Yeah, thanks. There's certainly a lot of thought is going in on how we can make our business better in our downtime. And, we're fortunate we had a number of branding options that we're about to release to markets, giving our marketing people something to do and focus on. And really, unfortunately, with the lockdown, other than just focusing on what we can do to make the business better when we come back and be a bit more streamlined, it's really we just unfortunately having to tread water to a certain extent.
And Brian?
We are spending this time looking at what new technologies we can incorporate in the business. Up until now, we never had time to explore. We always have time on our hands now, so it's a good opportunity. We're looking at a lot more product videos, launching products via video, etc. So that's just something we're looking at doing, which is something we can possibly use moving forward, even post COVID-19. We're also looking at removing the complexity out of our business. We're going through each process step by step to see, can we simplify? Because I think that's important for all of us to continue to simplify what we do when we can. And we're also removing costs out of the business as much as possible. And I would certainly suggest that all APPA members, look through their expenses and see what costs do they have in the business that they can either remove temporarily or permanently. So we've certainly been down that route, and we're removing as much as we can. We've also been taking a good look at the JobKeeper subsidy program, and again, I would recommend that members take a look at that. I would, however, just make sure that each person actually takes a good look and really understands the way it's going to work with the retrospective nature of the payments. Some of that came as a bit of a surprise to me how the process actually worked. So I'm not going to give advice on the actual program itself, but I'll certainly recommend that everybody just takes a close look to really understand how the JobKeeper actually works.
I think we're actually very lucky. The federal government has come up with the JobKeepers program that Brian was just mentioning before, and I endorse what he said about really investigating if people. It's allowed us to maintain our staff. Maintain staff here in Australia, and even though things are a little bit quieter, we're using things like businesses down. We're using the time to get on with some projects that ordinarily might come later in the year, or and accelerate projects that we had happening. So we've got things like our staff at the moment, in between orders, are doing stock take. It's quite pertinent. So we'll get on at some point. Our print shop staff are experimenting with new decoration techniques and what they can offer on our products. If we have more types of decoration on our products. Customer service are focusing on the website, improving product data images and categorisation on the website. And we've got our sales team really working with our customers as much as they can to get on the phone so we can do to support. Marketing's working with doing EMs and preparing support material for our customers. And our purchasing team are working in products for later in the year. So my suggestion would be to have the job keepers, see if you do qualify for it, and use this time to actually prepare for when the business will pick up.
Okay, you still there, Chris?
Yep.
Gotcha. I'm working from home at the moment, and the kids are being nice and well behaved, but I've got the cat jumping on the desk and making a bit of noise behind me. But moving along, what longer term impacts do you believe COVID-19 will have on the promotional products industry? Any thoughts yet on how this may change the way that we do business in the future? What do you think the industry will look like post COVID-19? Greg, we might start with you.
Yeah, I think the way we've always communicated will change. Obviously, there's going to be a lot less face-to-face, so it will be a challenge to stimulate demand as we have in the past. But with that, there will be opportunities specifically around different forms of technology that can be used and how our market can market those promotional products to the consumer. So that'll be the real trick, and I'd suggest each market segment will be a bit different how they look at technology on those. I think the industry, it's definitely going to be a slowdown, and really the focus is going to be get on to getting that turnover going over the 12-month period, and then building as it comes back. So I think it's going to be a slow and steady time for the next 12 months, but a time where there's still going to be opportunities for people as well.
Chris?
Can you guys hear me? Hear me all right still?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to... I guess the thing is, what's going to be the new normal for us? And, hand sanitizers, face masks, personal protection equipment, they're likely to be around for a while. And I think the industry, as an industry, we're going to need to consider how COVID-19 is actually going to change companies. People are going to be working, and how end users are going to be using promotional products. People are going to be working from home. How will there be as many conferences and trade shows in the future, or are we going to have some of that going to move on? Universities and schools, are they going to be offering online courses? And will there be less face-to-face teaching? I think once we consider what the new normal is, we can really have a good think about what products are going to be and how we can deliver those products.
And Brian?
So just as far as an industry's point of view is concerned, I would expect there'll be some sort of consolidation in the industry over the next 6-12 months. I think that's just going to be natural with the falling business. I also think that business will be more thrifty. They'll be look to see how they can actually save money, how they can build up cash reserves, just in case something like this was to happen in the future. And similar to what Greg was talking about, I'd also expect the health and well-being product segment to grow. And then the next thing is, is credit terms. Some businesses are already tightening credit terms, and I think that's going to happen across the industry moving forward.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Chris touched on a lot more people working from home, and that's obviously happening at the moment during lockdown and most of the staff transitioning to the home office. I think you've all in the same position there. So what are you telling your staff at the moment to make sure that they stay mentally healthy and that they're keeping connected with yourselves and the rest of your team and that they are keeping focused and positive? And Brian, we might start with you on that question.
Yeah, look, I think number one way to keep people positive is to pay them. So we've certainly, been continuing to pay our people, some on annual leave, some, different schemes, but everyone's still getting money, which I think is important. And as far as keeping them connected with the business, we're trying, to rotate people as much as possible. Those who are working from home, we're trying to bring them into the office, and sort of keep rotating them so that people really do have a close connection with the business, with what we're doing. Those are the main techniques that we're trying at the moment.
Okay. And Greg, during lockdown, how are you managing this process?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of uncertainty, and we're really focused on keeping up a constant communication with all our staff, and it's really important there that we ensure they're well informed. So we've got a significant amount of staff. So we found with our first email out, it dropped a few emails, so we have to do it in 2 chunks now. And just really reiterating the message of where the company's at. Things are still going on, and how they need to look after themselves as well, which was obviously really important. Not a lot of able to work, so just really stay at home, make the most of your time with your families, keep active and keep safe, and those sort of messages. And any staff that have any concerns have the email platform, they can have questions answered or anything like that. So that's the best we can do at the moment.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and Chris?
It's certainly a stressful time for everybody out there, and all the staff have got family, they've got children, they've got parents and some well family members as well. So it's a stressful time for everybody, but it's quite interesting. I think a lot of our staff see work as quite a good distraction at the moment, with all the kids driving them nuts or cats jumping on them. So find work quite a good distraction. So and I'm actually really proud of our team. I think our team they've really come together. They've really used their initiative, and they've really come up with some good ideas for us. And they're dealing lockdown well. We have we're rotating people into the office as we can, and then we're using telephone and Zoom and Skype to keep in contact with all the other staff. So it is a tough time for everybody, but I guess, what I say, necessity is a mother of invention, and I think our team have been great, done a good job, really supported the company, and we'll come up with some good ideas, some good new products, some good new marketing campaigns as we get through this as well.
Okay, no, great, that's good to hear. All right, guys, so last question. I'm sure you're keeping your distributor up to date with all the key issues that are happening within the business. But what are the current updates to some of those issues, such as what is the latest news from China regarding production, and what are the latest updates in relation to delays? And I know, Brian, you did touch on those freight delays, and what's the supply chain looking like right now? So what are some of those updates on some of those key issues? And Brian, we might start with you on this one.
Sure. So as I was saying earlier, that most of our factories are back to relatively strong production capabilities. Most of them seem to be around about 80%. What I'm hearing from the factories, though, a lot of them, if they haven't sort of pivoted their business into masks and sanitizer and other areas, they're actually fairly quiet. Most of the factories that I'm talking to, and they're really they're asking us for orders, and they really want business. They're chasing for the first time in a long time. So that's what we're finding with the factories, and then just the other two with the shipments, the sea freight, still running relatively smooth, possibly about a week, 10 days delay, but the big one is the air freight, and you really, unless some of the airlines start putting on additional services, I think the air freight lead times will get worse before they get better. So that's our major concern at the moment, is just the air freight.
Right. And Chris?
Yeah, we monitor the factories all the way from Chinese New Year through, and I think I think our industry's been quite fortunate that not a lot of our products actually come out with problems. So as we monitor the factories through February and March, we could see them coming back to work, and we can see their production increasing. And as Brian said, most of our factories are now back to full production or close to full production. So they're asking us for orders, chasing us for orders at the moment. They can manufacture within normal manufacturing plants, and apart from some delays, which on sea freight, some small delays on sea freight, which is, as Brian said, weeks, 10 days, we're in the same boat as his. It's business as usual. It is the air freight, as we touched upon before, which is where it's significant delays being seen. Both airline, straight air freight, and also services. So it's getting harder to actually get product into Australia. That said, I'm sure the guys are backing up when I say there's plenty of product here in Australia. We've got a warehouse full of product. We've got capacity in terms of our decoration capabilities. So it'd be great to see members stick together. We use local stock and fulfill as many orders as we can. Give us a call and we'll help you out in any way we can.
All right, thanks, Chris. And to finish us off, Greg.
Yeah, just pretty much the same. Yeah, we've got a shed full of stock, so we've got good stock coverage across all our categories. No detrimental delays in getting stock over from China, so that's working pretty well for us. Our supply chain into Australia is locked and loaded. We're just waiting for our Prime Minister to let us get back into work, so that'll be good. And just, I suppose, a wee message to the APPA members and all our distributors really is just, to make sure they keep their mindset positive. No matter how bleak things may seem, there's always a way through. So really encourage everyone to be talking with each other, seeking advice. It's just really important they do that, and making sure people are putting their hand out for help if they're really suffering a bit or in a bit of a dark place.
Okay, great. No, that's a good message to finish off with. So Brian, Greg, Chris, thanks for your time today. Good luck over the next few months. We're lucky that we've got technology such as Zoom, but hopefully we can all meet up face to face in the second half of the year at the APPA trade shows. And thanks again for joining me.